day, viewers, and welcome to another OnSide SA soccer show. Paul is unfortunately at the sales at the casino, and joining me shortly will be our regular UK correspondent Stevie Bram in his Fulham studio, where we'll be going through the Euros and the MLS and giving you all our tips and predictions as normal. Steve, good morning.
Morning, Budge.
Steve, before we get into the games, how's the press been towards Southgate? Do they want him fired, or what is the situation?
Well, I think, they haven't been happy with the performances.
Yeah.
But I think they're not giving him the hardest time because at the moment, obviously, England is still in the competition. I think, if they go out on Saturday and they put in another in-net performance, then I think the knives will be out. But I think at the moment, obviously, they're giving him the benefit of the doubt on the basis that we're still in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's call up the betting. And the first game we got, Steve, is the big game of the lot. For me, it's we'll discuss the England-Switzerland game first, Steve. 12-10 England, a bit short?
I think a little bit short. I mean, based on performances, you'd think so. And Switzerland particularly, I thought, have played very well. They showed no fear, deserved to win last weekend. But it's the problem is you look at England and you look at the players they've got available, and they're just not playing as a team, or they're not playing with the sort of pace and speed and clinical sort of finishing that we know. It's almost like Southgate sort of telling them just playing not to lose rather than to win, and it's painful watching.
Steve, would you drop Harry Kane?
I don't know if I drop him. I mean, I don't know if that's the problem. For me, I think the issues are on either side of him, because then there's no pace down the wing. Yeah. They're not getting behind the players. If they get the ball in the box in the right place, as Harry Kane was in the right place, he'll score goals. Yeah. But he's not getting the service, and then he's ending up dropping deep to get the ball. Which isn't working because But Southgate seems so reluctant to change. Yeah. It took him an age to bring on any substitutions, even though what we were doing wasn't working. Yeah. And in fact, just by a little bit of sort of magic right at the end from Bellingham, we probably deserved to go out, not because of acting with a better team, but because England were just playing as if they had one arm behind their back, and they were told to be cautious, and they've got to find a way to get some pace and just to move the ball around quicker. Yeah. It's just you watch some of the other teams, even teams that have lost. We mentioned teams like Georgia. They get the ball and they go forward and they have a go and they create chances. And I think that's what people are crying out for. They're crying out for a performance. So let's hope that we can raise our game on Saturday. Yeah,
if he doesn't play two up front, I think you're going to be in trouble, Steve. I think this has got 1-1 and extra time written all over it for me. I just don't trust England and what I've seen. And Switzerland have been impressive. They played well against the Germans. And if England had played against one of the top teams, or they've been in the other half of the draw, I think they'd have been gone. But if they don't improve, Steve, they're going out. Anyway, Steve, the second game we got is Portugal-France. Another disappointing team for me, Portugal. We said before the competition, they go as far as Roberto Martinez controls Ronaldo, and Ronaldo plays every minute. And to me, of what I've seen, I'm fancy France all day. Do you agree?
Yeah, look, it's interesting. I mean, as you say, it's almost like, I thought the other night, Ronaldo was like that kid in the playground who brings the football, and if he doesn't like what's going on, he'll take it away. I mean, he had to take every free kick, even though, I think he had one on target and about half a dozen off. Obviously, he took the penalty. It was a good save from Oblak. France, for me, they've got the players, but they've been disappointing. Yeah. They found it hard to score, and I thought, Belgium made it tough for them, but in the end, obviously, they got there. But they're sort of misfiring a bit, France. In fact, both teams are really not playing up to the sort of level I think they're capable of. For me, I thought France are pre-tournament favourites. I think they might just edge this one, but neither team have really been that impressive, particularly in the last couple of games.
Yeah, I fancy France all day, Steve. Against Belgium, how many chances they hit off over the bar? I just think that Rabia, I think, suspended, so hopefully he only plays two midfield players. and plays Dembele. This Portuguese team, yeah, as we said before, great side, great squad, but as long as Ronaldo rules the roost, I just don't see it. You know, they can't play with 10 men. And for me, I'm all over the French in this particular game. The next game is Spain-Germany, which is a tie of the round, Steve. You know, I may be right saying that I think these have been the two most impressive sides in their 4 games. Prior to the tournament, I tipped Spain to knock the Germans out. Do you agree?
Well, I think this could easily have been the final if they were on the other side of the draw. I think that's the, you know, and it could well be the game of the round. You know, you've got Spain who are playing totally opposite to England with 2 young wingers who are showing no fear and taking the defenders on at every opportunity. And then you've got sort of Germany who obviously at home, you know, they played well. They deserved to win the group, to get through. I think this could be a really good game. But Spain, you know, maybe they're finding some of that form that they had 10 years ago or so.
Yeah.
You know, they obviously went behind, but you know they won convincingly in the end. So I think this is going to be a really close game. It could go to extra time, might even go to penalties. But I think it's going to be really close, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, I think that this, for me, this is certainly going to be the game of the round.
Yeah, I totally agree. See, I think there's goals in this game. My only problem with the Spanish is because they're a young side, I think the Germans are going to be physical with them. And, you know, I think it's going to be a superb game. Well, let's hope the managers don't sit back and try and counter-attack each other. But, yeah, this could go either way for me. I'm slightly siding with Spain, but any result's possible in this particular game. And the final game, Netherlands-Turkey, Steve? Who do you fancy?
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought the Netherlands played probably their best game of the tournament, and you know, but I thought after the first 20 minutes, Romania weren't really in it, and I thought the Netherlands were too strong for them. I think the odds look a bit short. I mean, Turkey, I think surprised people the way, you know. I mean, they hung on for dear life at the end against Austria, but you know they did well. And they've got a couple of young players who aren't afraid to run with the ball. I think this will be a close game. I think the Netherlands have got the players to win it, but you sort of do. You know, they conceded goals apart from the other day, so I don't know. I think the Netherlands for me just to edge it, but I just think their odds look a little bit short.
Yeah, I think the goals is the right way to go in that particular game. Steve, I've got to ask you, I need your 2 finalists because the semis are next Tuesday, Wednesday. I need your 2 finalists and the winner. Who are you on?
Gosh, I'm going to go for Spain. I think from that side of the draw, and I might as well be positive for a change. I'll go for England, but I just can't see England winning it. So you know, if that was the final, I fancy Spain.
Yeah, I'm going the complete opposite, Steve. Whoever beats France wins it. I just like the solidarity at the back. I'm taking 9-2 the French to win it. I was on the Portuguese, but I haven't been impressed, and I just got a funny feeling the Netherlands are going to sneak into the final. If they get hold of England, it'll be a tight game, or they get hold of Switzerland. I'm on the Dutch, so that'll be my play, my exacta there. Thank the French to beat the Dutch. Steve, on to the MLS, and there were games last night. I know several of them finished this morning, and we'll call the betting up shortly. But the first game that we got, let me get my sheet, is Cincinnati against Inter Miami, 1-2.
Yeah, 1-2. I mean, again, it's almost like people seem to think that without Messi, Inter Miami can't win.
Yeah.
They did last week. Cincinnati, I mean, lost last week, surprisingly. And they won last week, but that sort of came unstuck a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
But Inter Miami have won 4 games in a row, and I'm not sure that Messi's played in any of them. I just think those odds just seem a little bit short to me, and Inter Miami, you know, I think they're a better team than people make out.
Yeah, they just say they won 7 and drawn 1 of the last 8. So goals will definitely be the way to go in that particular game. Steve, I think Columbus are absolute certainties. It's even money to win by more than 1 goal. Surely they've got to beat Toronto.
Yeah, they should do. I mean, they're strong at home, Columbus. So you know they've had a good season, and I think they will be too strong.
Yeah, I'm going to fancy them all day. Montreal, Vancouver, Canadian derby.
Yeah, I mean, Montreal are not having a particularly good season. At home, they might just be do enough. But Vancouver have sort of steadied the ship a little bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel each other out. I'm not sure either team probably are going to win this.
Yeah, totally agree. 26-10 does look the right way to go. Steve, Orlando City versus DC United. How do you see it going?
Yeah, I think Orlando should be too strong at home. You know, DC have had a very mixed season. Orlando not exactly setting the world alight, but I think that they might be a little bit too strong. So I fancy them at home.
Yeah, 9-10 looks a great price, especially as DC United haven't won in the last 10 games. Philadelphia, New York Red Bulls. Steve, the Red Bulls cost me big time last week when they drew 2-2 at home. Do you see them rebounding against Philadelphia?
I think they can do. I mean, Philadelphia of having a really poor season.
Yeah.
You know, we keep thinking about last season when they did well, but this season they've been really disappointing. So, you know, I fancy New York Red Bulls.
Yeah, 15-10 looks a fair price. On to our second page, and we've got Austin at home against New York City. How do you see it going, Steve?
Yeah, Austin are not a bad side at home, but New York City, you know, I'm not sure about them. You know, they've had a sort of a little bit of a mixed season, but, you know, I think that I fancy them, though, to maybe to get a result.
Yeah, I must say, I think that's got a draw written all over it. Austin don't concede too many goals away from home, and City tend to park the bus away from home. There's it 3 draws out of the last 4, so for me, 22-10 the draw is the obvious play. Steve, I'm all over Real Salt Lake to beat Atlanta. Do you agree?
Yeah, they should do. I mean, they're having a great season, and you'd expect them to be favourites for this one.
Yeah, I took 22-10 Real Salt Lake to win and both teams to score. Atlanta seemed to be better away from home than at home, but Real Salt Lake going well, and they should be hard to beat. Steve, what do you make of the Seattle versus New England fixture?
Well, New England sort of surprised everybody. I mean, you know, after a terrible start, they sort of put a few wins together.
Yeah.
But Seattle at home are not too bad. I've got a feeling Seattle might just be a little bit too strong for them. They've won sort of 3 of the last 4 Seattle, and I think at home they might just be a little bit too strong.
Yeah, I'm going to go the goals route in that particular game. Seattle, the goals was always plenty of them, so that's my suggestion. I took 9-10 Seattle to score over 1.5 goals, but I wouldn't stop you from taking over 2.5 and both teams to score. Houston at home against a Los Angeles team that are going well, Steve. Which way do you see it?
I fancy Los Angeles. You know, I think they're having a good run at the moment, and I just think they'll be too strong. Yeah,
they play LA Galaxy in the Los Angeles derby tonight, so that may affect their mindset. But Houston don't get beat too often at home, so anything's possible. But of the 2 teams, Los Angeles are highly ranked, but I think the draw's a major player. Sporting Kansas City, Steve, having an absolute nightmare. But at home against Dallas, can they turn things around?
Look, you know, I mean, I think their fans would hope so. I mean, I think they've lost something like sort of eight out of the last 9, or something sort of crazy like that. But I'm not sure that you know they're doing well enough at the moment. Dallas are not exactly setting the season alight. They've lost their last couple.
Yeah.
They might hold each other, but I'm not sure Sporting Kansas have got enough to win.
Yeah, hard to see where they get 8-10 from, but under 2.5 goals would be my suggestion there. On to our final page, and we've got San Jose up against Chicago. How do you see it, Steve?
Well, San Jose are having you know, a really poor season. I mean, they are the most out of form side. You know, they had you know, they've really had a bad sort of run, and they conceded a lot of goals to LA and to Los Angeles and to the Galaxy. Chicago actually not having, you know, not doing much better, but probably for me, I would have thought Chicago would have been favourites, not the other way around.
Yeah, San Jose lost 8-9, but Chicago don't travel too well, Steve. And if I'm looking at this game, I think the draw at 28-10 is the right play, but I'll be bypassing this game, that's for sure. Steve, I fancy Colorado to beat St. Louis, but how do you see it?
Yeah, no, I think they should. I mean, again, St. Louis are having a difficult season, but Colorado, for me, should be too strong. They're doing okay, and I think they should be. They should win this.
Yeah, they play Sporting Kansas City tonight, so I think those odds may shorten, but I fancy Colorado big time. LA Galaxy at home against Minnesota, Steve. I know the LA Galaxy play Los Angeles in a big game tonight, but Minnesota have been struggling.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota started off well, but they sort of fallen away a little bit. But I just think the Galaxy should be too strong. I mean, they've had a reasonable run recently, but as you say, they've got a big game, a big derby game, and it is over there. But I think they should still be too strong for Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota are always capable of scoring, so I went LA Galaxy to win, and both teams to score. It was a shade under 5-2. And last but not least, Steve, Phil Neville's Portland, hard to beat at home. Even money a good price against Nashville?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable price. Nashville not having the worst season, but I think certainly at home Portland should be strong enough. I think they should win. Yeah,
they play tonight, so there may be an injury or two. But I went the goals route, over 1.5 Portland, a shade over even money. Steve, as always, it's pressure time. Last week we are both on fire, both picks won. Who you won this week?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Inter Miami. I just think that, for whatever reason, without Messi, odds seem to be skewed against them, and I just think they're better than 7-2. And for me, my sort of best bet, I think, is Los Angeles. I think they should be comfortable winners.
Yeah, 13-10. Well, I'm going for Orlando City, Steve. 9-10, and I think France are going to drift. I think the French will beat the Portuguese. 14-10, I think it's not a bad price. I know it'll be a tight game, but I think someone's going to get a hiding from the French, and it wouldn't surprise me if it's the Portuguese. Steve, thanks as always, and we'll speak to you all. We'll be talking obviously over the weekend, and let's hope England turn up, yeah?
Absolutely. Cheers, bud.
All the best, Steve. Thank you very much. On to our Saturday soccer exotics, and we start off with our soccer six. And the first one up, it's a bit of a licorice all sorts one, but we start off with Finland. I went the field in the Tampereen Eels versus HJK Helsinki team. I'm bankering Elfsborg to beat Broma Pochkana, America Mineiro and the Brazilian Serie B to be too good at home for Operario PR. I've gone the field in the England-Switzerland game. Anything can happen there. I've gone KR Reykjavik, win and draw at home against St. Johnham, and IAK Cranes, win and draw at home against HK Kopervoga in the Icelandic League, 2-1-6. On to our second soccer six. I'm siding with Switzerland to avoid defeat against England. I'm going Netherlands, win and draw against Turkey. Cincinnati, win and draw at home against Inter Miami. I'm bankering Orlando City to beat DC United and ending up with 2 home win and draws. Sao Paulo at home against RB Bragantino and Austin FC at home against New York City, 192. On to our soccer 10 for Saturday. I'm going the field in the 2 Euro games. That's England, Switzerland and Netherlands, Turkey. I'm banking Goiás to beat Chapecoense, Cincinnati to avoid defeat at home against Inter Miami, and Orlando City to be too good at home against DC United. Onto the second page, I'm chancing the New York Red Bulls to avoid defeat at home against Philadelphia Union. Flamengo should be too good at home against Cuiabá. Sao Paulo win and draw at home against RB Bragantino, as long as Austin FC win and draw at home against New York City, ending up with Seattle Sounders to beat the New England Revolution, 288. Onto the tricky soccer 13, where I'm going Switzerland win and draw against England. I'm chancing Netherlands to beat Turkey, Colombia to beat Panama, Uruguay win and draw at home against Brazil, IAA Cranes win and draw against HK Kopervoga, and KR Reykjavik win and draw against St. Germain, and bankering Flamengo to beat Cuiabá. Onto our second page, I don't see Sao Paulo losing at home to RB Bragantino. Had to side with one team, so I'm going Cincinnati win and draw against Inter Miami, and 3 bankers. The Columbus Crew to beat Toronto, the Montreal Impact to beat Vancouver Whitecaps, and Orlando City to beat DC United. And last but not least, I'm going New York Red Bulls to avoid defeat at Philadelphia Union, 256 Rand. On to our budgies bets for the weekend. I'm going over 2.5 goals in the Germany versus Spain game. I think the French will qualify at 66 to 100 against the Portuguese. And I'm going Switzerland to win or draw, and both teams to score yes, and against England. That's 2,000 to 200. The other Euro treble I've got, I'm going both teams to score in the Germany-Spain game. Over 3.5 bookings in the England versus Switzerland fixture, and France to win the competition outright, 2,800 to 200. On to America, I'm going Columbus to beat Toronto by more than 1 goal. Real Salt Lake to beat Atlanta, and LA Galaxy, Minnesota, and all 4 teams to score, 3,600 to 200. My MLS team goal sides, I'm going Columbus to score over 2.5 goals. Colorado, Portland, and Seattle all to score over 1.5 goals, 2,100 to 200. The Swedish League kicks off again, so I'm going to have a bet there. I'm going Elfsborg to beat Brommapojkana and over 2.5 total goals. I'm going in Njolby to beat Sirius and both teams to score in the IFK Bonamo, IFK Gothenburg, and Norrköping versus Jurgens fixtures, 2,600 to 200. Now, Collis King 6 or Nixa, I'm going Elfsborg to beat Brommapojkana, Columbus to beat Toronto, LA Galaxy to beat Minnesota, Portland to win their game, Real Salt Lake to beat Atlanta, and Flamengo to beat Cuiabá, 3,600 to 200. Guys, have a safe weekend, and please remember to stay on side.